A blessed, beautiful day, Grateful Gap family. Welcome into the Grateful Gap Sports Huddle. Definitely looking forward to today's Sports Huddle. But before I get to the Sports Huddle rundown, I'm going to get directly to the daily verse. Daily verse for the day of January 27th, 2024. Derives from the book of Psalms, chapter 143, verse 6. And it states as follows. I spread out my hands to you. I am like a parched land that thirsts for you. Amen. And again, it's from the book of Psalms, chapter 143, verse 6. Yes, truly, Jehovah, just spread out my hands, open my heart to you, give you my life. I serve you wholeheartedly, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you for allowing me to be humble, allowing me to be able to have life, to be able to grow and learn and become closer and closer to you. And I just truly appreciate today. Allow me to never take a day of my life for granted, because one day, we'll have everlasting life, and we won't even count the days or count, the blessing of having a day. But I just truly want to always be humble, just to be able to have life and be in your presence. And just thank you for today, Lord. Amen. All right, Grateful Gap family. So again, like I said, man, truly excited about today's Sports Huddle. We got some big games this weekend. We got the AFC NFC Championship game kicking off. I'll be recapping NCAA women's top 10 matchup versus LSU and South Carolina. That was a great game. I'll be giving my Super Bowl predictions. Again, the AFC and NFC Championships, who I think will win out those games. NFL news, National Hockey League information, NCAA men's and women's top 25. Also with the NBA's All-Star list. Not the All-Star list, the NBA's All-Star starters for the East and the Western Conference. I'll be having that information also. Speaking about some players I think that got snubbed. Also, moving on to close out the Sports Huddle, I'll be going over the NBA regular season. And also, I'll be recapping NCAA men's and women's top 25. So getting into it, like I said, man, AFC, NFC Championship games kick off tomorrow. We have the AFC Championship kicking off tomorrow at 3 p.m., Definitely a heavyweight matchup between Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, as well as both of those offenses and defenses. The Ravens got a top-tier defense, right along with the Chiefs. They have a stellar defense also. The Chiefs, we have Andy Reid on their side, along with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, those type of players. Isaiah Pacheco, those type of guys. Definitely a lot of weapons on that offensive side of the ball. Then going to the Ravens, you got Lamar Jackson at the helm. Along with those receivers. They have Mark Andrews coming back, which is a big plus for the Ravens. So I know they're excited to get him back in action and really have him as a threat. Not even if he don't get the ball, he has to. He's a player that requires double team for sure. So that'll be a pretty good matchup to check out for tomorrow games kicking off at 3:30. at 3 o'clock. On CBS. And I think the Ravens gonna clinch it out, man. I think it's gonna be a hard fought game. Might even go to overtime. I think it's going to be maybe 27-24 or 30-27. Maybe not even that much. Maybe it might be a 17-20 game. And like I said, both of these defenses are going to be flying around. I know Roquan Smith is looking to really lead this Ravens defense against Patrick Mahomes. The Ravens believe in, taking care of home and fighting for what's theirs and then really, showing the world what they can be able to do. And I would love to be able to see Lamar Jackson in his first Super Bowl appearance, I think he's capable of taking his team to that level and really, sealing the deal. So I'm definitely excited about all these games this weekend. And then moving on to the NFC side, we have the Lions making an appearance in their second ever NFC Championship game, looking to seal the deal and make their trip to Las Vegas on their first ever Super Bowl appearance. So, Jared Goff and all those guys over there and Dan Campbell and his Lions teams is going into Levi Stadium hungry. They're going to face Brock Purdy and that Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayoku and Christian McCaffrey. I don't know if I pronounced Brandon's last name correct, but, and then that defense with Chase Young and Bosa and Greenlaw and those linebackers, and man, it's gonna be. I'm telling you, this championship game this weekend, every game, these last four teams are definitely, top tier teams in this league, and they're at this position and at this point of the season for a reason. And yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think the Lions are able to pull it out. I think it's going to be hard fought, especially with Deebo Samuel being back. As you can see last week with the Packers and the 49ers when Deebo Samuel got hurt, the Packers, the 49ers just wasn't the same team, but, stay playing that type of football. Run the ball with Christian McCaffrey, get Deebo Samuel, Kittle, those type of guys involved. And they definitely have a big chance to win. Brock Purdy, he don't have to do too much. Just try to go and don't lose the game. And the 49ers will have a great chance to win. But I think this game is going to come down to the wire also. I think the 49ers are going to win, even though I want the Lions to win, just because they had such a magical season to win their first NFC North Championship in 30 years, to get to their second ever NFC Championship game appearance, to have an opportunity to go play in their first Super Bowl. Of course, I want the Lions to win, but I just think the 49ers are a better team all the way around, and I think they have the advantage. One, they're at home, and just like I said, the weapons they have on the offensive and defensive side. Even though the Lions, they have a lot of weapons on the offensive side and defensive side also. So it's gonna be a great game. I think this game is gonna be a higher scoring game than the AFC Championship game, just because these defenses are good, but they're not as good as the Ravens or the Chiefs defense, in my opinion. So I think the 49ers will win maybe 28-24. 28-24. I can see that game going that way, the 49ers way. So my Super Bowl prediction is going to be the Ravens versus the 49ers, and the Super Bowl for opportunity in Las Vegas to win the 59th Super Bowl. So when we get to that point to see who those two teams are, I will give my predictions as they come. So good luck to all those teams, and y'all stay healthy, and good luck on the rest of y'all season. Moving on to NFL news. The Philadelphia Eagles did hire a defensive coordinator. Currently, at the moment, as it stands, it's Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio is our new defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. Kind of mixed emotions on that and how it goes. Like I said the other day, I was truly hoping that we went the more youth route. And also I wanted to give corrections on the coaching. The coach that I said that I thought would be our offensive coordinator, I'm pretty sure I had mentioned Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is the Ole Miss head coach, and I was confusing him with Cliff. Cliff something. I gotta go find his name, but I was confusing him with him. So I want to get the correct information here as I continue to go forth. Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury is his name, but again, Vic Fangio is currently our defensive coordinator. I don't know if it's in stone yet, but they've mutually agreed to be, the Eagles defensive coordinator. I'm pretty sure it's set, but I don't know of a contract, nothing formal from the Eagles has been brought up. This is just source based. But I think it's solid pretty much. A lot of the insiders of the Eagles and people around the media world and who know more than we do on the outside have basically confirmed that he's the defensive coordinator. But again, we are pushing to really get a great offense coordinator in this building with us. And again, I think Cliff Kingsbury, he used to be a head coach in the NFL, and he's also a stellar offensive coordinator, offensive-minded guy. Has a lot of history with dual threat quarterbacks. So I think he'll be pretty good as he, tries to assert himself and become a part of this Eagles organization. So hopefully it happens. I would love to see who we go with, but time will tell. And as more information comes down the line, I will let y'all know. Also, more NFL news. The Atlanta Falcons have hired their new head coach, Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris is the Falcons head coach. Congratulations to this young man. I think the city of Atlanta is going to embrace this guy, defensive-minded guy. Somebody who, me personally, I would love for our next head coach to be a defensive guy. Somebody who really knows defense, who really emphasizes on it, and who know how to balance between being aggressive on defense in the draft and understanding offensive importance as well. But really having a focus on defense. Defense wins championships. I stand on that, and I believe in that. And I think this gentleman will definitely bring that culture to the Falcons. Also, the Panthers have hired Bucks offensive coordinator Canellis as their new coach. So Dave Canellis is the new Panthers head coach. He was their offensive coordinator for the Bucks. So congratulations to him. Also, we have let's see who we got. That's all the information I have right now for hirings in the NFL for coaches at the moment. But again, be on the lookout for more information as the pieces start to, be set on the board. And as we get closer and closer to the draft, I have more information of that. Also, for more NFL news, I will have it as it comes down the line. Moving on to National Hockey League recap from Thursday games. We had the Canadiens defeat the Islanders 4-3. We had the Bruins defeat the Senators in overtime 3-2. We had the Red Wings defeat the Flyers 3-0. We had the Lightning defeat the Coyotes 6-3. The Hurricanes defeated the Devils 3-2. The Ducks fell to the Stars in overtime 4-3. The Predators defeated the Wild 3-2. The Blue Jackets defeated the Flames 5-2. And the Blackhawks fell to the Oilers 3-0. Recap of last night games for Friday, January 26th. We had the Golden Knights defeat the Rangers 5-2. The Penguins fell to the Panthers in shootouts 3-2. The Avalanche over the Kings 5-1. And the Blues defeated the Krakens in overtime 4-3. For today's games, kicking off at 12:30 on the National Hockey League Network, we have the Flyers hosting the Bruins, the Stars hosting the Capitals, the Predators going up against the Oilers, the Sharks hosting the Sabres. We have a 7 o'clock game on the National Hockey League Network, the Senators hosting the Rangers, the Devils going up against the Lightning, the Penguins hosting the Canadiens, the Hurricanes hosting the Coyotes, the Maple Leafs going up against the Jets, the Islanders versus the Panthers, the Red Wings versus the Golden Knights, the Ducks going up against the Wild, the Blackhawks versus the Flames, and the Blue Jackets going up against the Canucks. Moving on to Sunday games, we have 2 games kicking off tomorrow. First game is at 2 p.m. on the National Hockey League Network. That will be the Blues hosting the Kings, and we have a game at 9 o'clock tomorrow night on the National Hockey League PP. I don't know what that is, or ESPN Plus, and that is the Krakens hosting the Blue Jackets. So make sure y'all tune into the Thursday Sports Huddle to get information from Saturday through Thursday games. Well, actually Saturday through Wednesday, because this following weekend will be the All-Star weekend, the All-Star game for the National Hockey League, which is the February 2nd through the 3rd. Then moving on to the NBA East and West All-Star starting fives. Before we get into this list, you're not going to hear Trae Young's name on this list, and I think that is total BS. He's the only person in the league averaging over 25 points and 11 assists per game, and he's missed games at that. So, but it was a big night last night in the NBA. But again, definitely think that Trae Young was snubbed. He hasn't had an All-Star appearance yet, to my knowledge. But I think he's definitely he has his sights on bigger and bigger things. So whatever. But it's gonna be cool. Shout out to LeBron James. Also, he has made NBA history by making the NBA All-Star game every year of his NBA season. He has made 20 straight All-Star games. So what a way for him to just continue to cement himself as one of the greatest players of all time. Moving on to the NBA starters. Again, okay, so for the West, we have the squad. We have at center Nikola Jokic this is for the West All-Star starters. We have Nikola Jokic. We have Kevin Durant. We have Luka Doncic. We have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and we have LeBron James. Moving on to the East All-Star team starters, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. We have Joel Embiid. We have Jason Tatum. We have Damian Lillard. and we have Tyrese Haliburton. So those are the gentlemen who received their all-star starting roles from the East and the West. And again, snubs for me were, probably Jalen Brunson. Yes, he's been top tier all year. Again, Trae Young, just, one of the top tier point guards in the league for sure. A lot of people would disagree with that, but the numbers don't lie, especially playing for a Hawks team that's really not loaded with superstars. We have a lot of young talent, a lot of good role players, but we don't have really, a lot of superstars. We acquired DeJounte Murray last season, and him and Trae Young are still, starting to gel, but it's so much, news and information flowing around about trades. So, we shall see what the Hawks do. They might want to, revamp and start all over again. Who knows? But, yeah, man, we shall see. So, moving on from the All-Star list, moving on to the NCAA men's and women's top 25. Again, if you missed that LSU versus South Carolina game this past week, man, I feel sorry for you because what a game. I mean, those girls was out there battling. Those ladies were going back and forth, toe-to-toe all day, all night in that game. It was a pretty good game. And I will get to it as I go down the slate. So moving on to the NCAA Women's Top 25 from Thursday, January 25th, we had number 19 Virginia Tech defeat Georgia Tech 87-69. We had an upset out of Florida State. We had unranked Duke dominate number 23 Florida State 88-46. We had number 7 NC State defeat Clemson 71-49. We had number 12 Ohio State defeat Illinois 67-59. We had another upset out of Notre Dame. We had number 22 Syracuse defeat number 15 Notre Dame 79-65. We had number 17 Gonzaga defeat Santa Clara 82-45. Number 18 Louisville defeated Boston College 88-60. Moving on to the heavyweight matchup between number 1 South Carolina versus number 9 LSU. Back and forth all day, the whole game. LSU would get up big, then South Carolina they'll find a way to storm back. And as I expected, man, I expected South Carolina to close out the game the way they know how to, which is winning, which they did. Number 1 South Carolina defeated number 9 LSU 76-70. We had number 20 North Carolina defeat Miami 66-61. A recap of last night's games from January 26th. We had number 6 Stanford dominate Arizona State 80-50. We had number 2 UCLA defeat Washington 62-44. We had an upset out of Colorado. We had number 25 Oregon State defeat number 3 Colorado 68-62. We had number 11 USC defeat Washington State 70-62. And we had number 16 Utah defeat Oregon 58-48. For today's games, kicking off at 2 p.m., we have number 5 Iowa hosting Nebraska. Number 24 West Virginia hosting Iowa State. Number 10 Texas hosting Cincinnati. Number 4 Kansas State hosting BYU. Number 17 Gonzaga going up against San Francisco. And we have a top 15 ranked matchup. We have number 8 UConn hosting number 15 Notre Dame at 8 p.m. on Fox. Moving on to Sunday games, we have a few ranked matchups. Kicking it off at noon on the ACC Network, we have number 22 Syracuse hosting number 19 Virginia Tech. Number 20 North Carolina going up against Virginia at noon also on the CW Network. We have number 6 Stanford going up against Arizona. Number 7 NC State going up against Boston College. Number 12 Ohio State going up against Purdue. Number 13 Baylor going up against Oklahoma State. We have number 14 Indiana hosting Northwestern. Number 18 Louisville hosting Pitt. Number 21 Creighton hosting Seton Hall. Number 1 South Carolina hosting Vanderbilt. Number 3 Colorado going up against Oregon. Number 11 USC hosting Washington. We have our first top 25 ranked matchup of the day. Oh, no, it ain't. It's our second one, excuse me. We have number 25 Oregon State hosting number 16 Utah. Number 2 UCLA hosting Washington State. And number 23 Florida State going up against Georgia Tech. So make sure y'all tune into the Thursday Sports Huddle to get updated information from Saturday and Sunday games and through the week before Thursday. Moving on to the NCAA men's from Thursday, we had an upset out of Arizona. We had unranked Oregon State defeat number 9 Arizona 83-80. Moving on to Friday games, we had number 13 Wisconsin defeat Michigan State 81-66. For today's games, kicking off at noon on ESPN, we have number 4 Houston hosting Kansas State. Number 14 Marquette hosting Seton Hall. And that number 4 Houston and Kansas State game can be seen on ESPN at noon. I might have said that already, sorry. Then we have number 14 Marquette hosting Seton Hall on FS1 at 1 p.m. A top 25 ranked matchup. Number 23 Iowa State hosting number 7 Kansas at 1:30 p.m. on CBS. Number 3 North Carolina going up against Florida State at 2 p.m. on ESPN. Another top 25 ranked matchup, number 11 Oklahoma hosting number 20 Texas Tech. Number 21 BYU hosting Texas on ESPN2 at 2 p.m. Number 10 Illinois hosting Indiana at 3 p.m. on Fox. Number 8 Auburn going up against Mississippi State at 3:30 p.m. on the SEC Network. Number 12 Duke hosting Clemson at 4 p.m. on ESPN. Number 15 Baylor hosting TCU on ESPN2 at 4 p.m. Number 18, Utah going up against Boise State. Number 24, Colorado State going up against Wyoming. Number 9, Arizona going up against Oregon at 5:30 p.m. on Fox. Number 5, Tennessee going up against Vanderbilt at 6 p.m. on the SEC Network. Number 6, Kentucky going up against Arkansas at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Number 16, Dayton going up against Richmond. And number 17, Creighton hosting DePaul at 7 p.m. on FS1. For Sunday games, we have number 1 UConn hosting Xavier at 12 p.m. on FS1. Number 2 Purdue going up against Rutgers at 1 p.m. on Fox. Number 22 FAU versus North Texas at 1 p.m. on ESPN2. Number 19 Memphis going up against UAB at 5 p.m. on ESPN. And number 25 New Mexico hosting Nevada at 10 p.m. on FS1. To close out our sports huddle for this week, we're moving on to the NBA regular season. NBA regular season recap from Thursday and Friday. And for slates of today's games and tomorrow, Thursday games, we had the Pacers defeat the 76ers 134-122. The Jazz defeated the Wizards 123-108. The Timberwolves outlasted the Nets 96-94. The Celtics dominated the Heat 143-110. The Knicks dominated the Nuggets 122-84. The Kings outheld the Warriors 134-133. And the Lakers defeated the Bulls 141-132. Recap of last night's games. Luka Doncic had a historic night going up against my Atlanta Hawks. The Dallas Mavericks defeated the Atlanta Hawks 148-143. Luka Doncic scored a franchise record of 73 points, which is tied for the 4th most in NBA history. Again, stellar performance. Also, some good news coming out of that game. Trae Young made an appearance, was able to put up 30 points, and he had 11 assists, even though we got the loss. But that was just good for him to be able to get back on the court because, again, he was in concussion protocol the other day. And they made it seem like it was so worse. You know, they was like, oh, his time, he's out indefinitely. So I didn't know they were saying he was out indefinitely for the game. You know what I mean? That's weird. When people say indefinitely, I'm thinking like he's out for the season. You know, a lot of people, they just throw around the word indefinitely. That means, basically what it means, indefinitely, So, I don't know, it says, the definition is without any limit of time or number. So whatever, I guess so, it's kind of just thrown around. But like I said, good news. He was, I was happy he was able to make it back on the court and have an impact on the game, even though we didn't win. But it's just good to see him on the court. Then moving on, we had the Rockets defeat the Hornets 138-104. The Pacers defeated the Suns 133-131. The Clippers defeated the Raptors 127-107. Also, in light of the Suns losing, Devin Booker did have 62 points. So he scored 62 points. But they took the L. But he did have an awesome scoring night. Then moving on to the Clippers defeated the Raptors 127-107. The Grizzlies outlasted the Magic 107-106. The Cavaliers defeated the Bucks 112-100. The Thunder dominated the Pelicans 107-83. And the Spurs defeated the Trailblazers 116-100. Moving on to today's games, kicking off at noon, we have the Pistons hosting the Wizards. We have the Knicks hosting the Heat at 3 p.m. on ABC. We have the Nuggets going up against the 76ers at 5:30 p.m. on ABC. The Nets hosting the Rockets. The Celtics hosting the Clippers. The Jazz going up against the Hornets. The Bucks hosting the Pelicans. The Spurs hosting the Timberwolves. We have a late night matchup tonight at 8:30 p.m. on ABC. The Warriors hosting the Lakers. And we have the Mavericks hosting the Kings at 9. Moving on to Sunday games, kicking off at 2 p.m. tomorrow. We have the Pistons hosting the Thunder. The Hawks hosting the Raptors. The Pacers hosting the Grizzlies. The Magic versus the Suns. And the Trailblazers hosting the Bulls. So again, Graphic Guy family, that is our sports huddle for the date of January 27th, 2024. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, make sure y'all tune in next week to see who our winners from the AFC and NFC Championships are, to meet up in the Super Bowl for Super Bowl 59 in Las Vegas. Again, appreciate y'all love and support. Also, on that note, we will have NFL honors, those type of awards, MVP announcements, the Defensive Player of the Year awards, Rookie Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie Offensive Player of the Year, all those type of awards as they come down, Comeback Player of the Year. So as that information continues to come out and is presented to us, I will have it for y'all here on the Sports Huddle. And again, I appreciate all the love and support. Y'all be blessed. Have a great today. Be safe. And until next time, peace.